Legend! Wait for it, Daryl.
Hey guys, it's me, Legend. Wait for it, Daryl. And today we're going to carry on with the top 10 interesting things about the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Today's topic is none other than Knuckles the Echidna. Why? Well, not just because him and I have glorious muscles and are super strong. No, but because I don't know if you guys know this. It's because Knuckles is in right now. That Sonic the Hedgehog movie surpassed expectation, and Knuckles was such a highlight. So I wanted to push this video out as soon as I possibly could. So, when I did the Shadow video, that was easy for me to do. I knew all that stuff about Shadow because he was my favorite character in the franchise. Knuckles took a little bit more work. I had to deep dive into that character to find out all the interesting facts I didn't know. So you may already know some of these things, you may not, but that's why we're here, because they're fun facts that you should know, because this guy is just interesting regardless. So, guys, I'm not going to keep you in suspense any longer. Without further ado, let's go over the top 10 interesting things you may not know. That doesn't mean they're going to be good things, that doesn't mean they're going to be bad things, that just means they're interesting, and it's time for you to hear them out. 10! Did you know that Knuckles' classic shoe design is actually based off of the colors of the Jamaican flag? This wasn't even done on accident either. It's a subtle nod to the fact that Knuckles was actually based or supposed to be designed to look more Jamaican. That's right, the thing with the hair right here. Those are actually really subtle references to him having dreads, except he's all red. And I really think that's a cool fact by itself. Not a lot of people talk about it. 9! Do you know why Knuckles is considered one of the greatest treasure hunters in the world? It's because he has something very similar to what Spider-Man has. Not a spider sense, but a treasure sense. As displayed in most video games, Knuckles has this ability to find and detect treasure, whether it's buried, hidden underwater, or even in space, which is a considerable useful talent that he has to have, seeing as how the Master Emerald has a horrible habit of being destroyed and spread around the entire planet, in the desert, even in space somehow. Knuckles' treasure sense allows him to find bits and pieces of the Master Emerald, gold, the Chaos Emeralds, almost any shape, form of rarity that he has managed to use in almost every video game to this day. Most notably the Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. Knuckles the Echidna is not just the greatest treasure hunter because of no reason. He was literally born for it because he has the treasure sense for it. 8! Okay guys, this one's kind of a two-parter. Did you know that Knuckles is not only the very first character to be introduced into Sonic game as a villain and then later become an ally? No. He's also the very first character in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise to receive his own platformer spin-off, which is Knuckles Chaotix. Yes, Knuckles went from antagonist to ally of the protagonist to protagonist of his own video game, and hopefully one day we do see a re-release of Knuckles Chaotix. Speaking of 7! So an unfortunate fact when you talk about Knuckles, while it is really cool that he did get his own spin-off game, Knuckles Chaotix, which did introduce a bunch of new characters that we know and love, that we do see to this day, unfortunately it is the only spin-off game in the series to not receive a re-release in any shape, form. Unless you're emulating it on your computer or like a handheld like your PlayStation Portable. Hopefully though, with all the Sonic games getting re-released and with Knuckles' popularity spiking back up, we do see Knuckles Chaotix back on the big screen or on a major platformer sometime soon. 6! And speaking of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 the movie, did you know that when Idris Elba was initially cast, he had one goal in mind, something that he had to aspire to do in order to nail this character to a T, and it was the fact that he had to do his best to make Knuckles not sound sexy. That's right, Idris Elba is very well aware of the power of his voice. The main issue is that he wanted Knuckles to sound more tough and intimidating, but he knew that his voice just had that nice, appealing, and erotic tone. And thus, he made it his mission, and Loki kind of failed a little bit in making his voice sound so sexy. This is something he has talked about in multiple interviews, and I think it's a hilarious fact when he was doing his best and still managed to nail the character portrayal of Knuckles for the new movie. I can't wait to see what he does in part 3. Or his spin-off show. He is getting a spin-off show on Paramount Plus, guys. Don't forget that.
5.
Do you know what Knuckles can do that Sonic simply can't? No, it's not gliding. Everyone knows that Knuckles can glide. In fact, it was seen as such a cheap ability because Knuckles could get to places Sonic can't in video games, especially when you do two-player mode. No. It's not the fact that he can glide. In fact, it's something that he can kind of rub into Sonic's face, because if Sonic can't, his inability to do it has actually made him die in several levels. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Knuckles can swim. He has the abilities and motions to swim. One of the reasons why is because he is the planet's greatest treasure hunters, and he needs the swimming ability to be able to go in, collect rare and ancient gems, emeralds, even pieces of Master Emerald. He has been seen to use this swimming ability in more than one game and inside the comics. And this is such a flex that Knuckles has had to this day, and not only does he have the power of flight over Sonic, but he has the power of swimming over Sonic, and this is one of the things that makes Knuckles just such a cool and intriguing character, is the fact that he can in fact swim.
4.
So I have to mention this now, or someone in my comment section will, or you'll just look it up and find out the hard way. Do you know that the animal Knuckles, the Echidna, is based off of isn't actually red? Yes. That isn't the obvious fact that I need to touch upon. No, so there's a thing about Echidnas that I don't think is canon to the video game character, but it is technically an interesting fact. It's the fact that all Echidnas have 4 heads on their yeah. I don't want to get too much into detail with it, but their parts, there's 4 tips to it. And I don't want to, I'm not going to get into detail with it, but if I don't mention it, someone in my comment section will. So, yeah, Echidnas aren't red, and they have 4, and that is, unfortunately, an interesting fact. The more you know.
3.
So, we know that Knuckles the Echidna is known as Knuckles the last Echidna in both the comics and the video games, but that's kind of not as accurate as it used to be, even knowing that he's still called that to this day. The reason why is that in the Sonic the Hedgehog comics, we have seen an entire new tribe of Echidna alive and well, and while they do feud with Knuckles every once in a while, they do become supporting cast in his own Knuckles spin-off comic and in the Archie comics as well. Also, there is another Echidna that is technically alive and well. She just only had one appearance, and that is, of course, Tikal, who made her first appearance in Sonic Adventure 1. She lives inside the Master Emerald and has been seen around in the video games. Also, she's in Sonic Forces Rush if you play that game on the app. That's not really a canon video game. The point is that Knuckles, the last Echidna, isn't really the last Echidna anymore. He does still use that name for some reason though. Hopefully that does get rectified in some shape, form, or fashion. But it is a really interesting thing to know when it comes to Knuckles the Last Echidna, that he's not really the last Echidna.
2.
It is time, my brothers! That's right, I have to address possibly one of the more offensive and stereotypical, and yet one of the more popular and interesting characters, which is of course Uganda Knuckles, and his existence alone makes him an interesting fact when talking about the character Knuckles the Echidna. Created by, or actually his entire avatar form was created by a deviant art maker, TD Sifler. I'm doing my best to credit you, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. The avatar was featured by a YouTube streamer's review of Sonic the Lost Worlds, who loves to make references to Uganda in Africa. And while the character is considered deeply offensive, he's still popular to this day and gets used in memes. The best and probably most okay use that the fandoms do see in him is by the popular YouTuber known as Devil Artemis, who makes Ugandan Knuckles a recurring character in his YouTube channel, to the point where he even has his own shirts, his own series, and has been used frequently. While Ugandan Knuckles isn't going away anytime soon, he has not yet been referenced in the official Sonic canon, and is a fan creation technically, but is considered the most popular fan creation of this day. And that is why I just wanted to bring it up, because if I don't bring up Uganda Knuckles, someone will, and I do like the character, and I just wanted to bring it up. And yeah, I usually have a more popular thing to end that fact off of, but that's what I got when it comes to Uganda Knuckles. But do you know, D-Way?
1.
And last but not least, do you know that when Knuckles, his initial character design and concept was being come up with, there was that white emblem symbol thing that he has on his chest? Well, could you imagine if that would have been something much different? Something you see on shoes today. Let's say maybe the emblem from Nike, the Just Do It brand from Nike, because that was almost the case. When Knuckles was being created, Sega and Nike had come up with an arrangement so that Knuckles would be featured more in their products as a bit of a mascot, and that the white Nike symbol was actually going to be on his chest. However, I guess the arrangement just never panned out, and Knuckles just has the little diamond thingy, that triangle thingy that we know and see in the comics, the movies, and the video games. That would have been such an interesting way to see and view Knuckles though. He would have been on shoe products, and who knows, we might have gotten Sonic shoes, official Sonic shoes, a lot faster had that had panned out. But it didn't, and it's probably one of the coolest things about Knuckles to know that he could have been a much larger and bigger deal, because one of the biggest shoe companies in the world wanted him to be their mascot, while still letting him operate with Sega video games. And there you have it, guys, the top 10 interesting things you may not know about Knuckles the Echidna, the last Echidna. Did I miss any facts about Knuckles that you may know that I may not know? Comment below, let me know please. Did you like Knuckles' portrayal in the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie? Are you excited for a spin-off show? Are you excited to see what he does in future video games? Also, comment, let me know, or find me on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter. Those are the platforms that you can find me at most of the time. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I am nothing without you. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content, because it's always coming. You guys have a super great day, and always, do you know the way?